I've been in this office for 8 and a half years, and we've not had a mass evacuation. Some of those procedures are being worked on now or being evaluated, and in light of a recent incident we had, a false alarm, it actually showed some deficiencies, if you will. So each building has a emergency evacuation plan or a emergency action plan, and they are being reviewed now. I think they're reviewed regularly, but they're being reviewed now. So each building has one specific to the makeup of the building. It's an important part of our campus safety plan, but at the same time, it's one that needs to be reevaluated.
Our communications center, we have 12 dispatchers. They were training on the tech alert system. The way the system was set up, there is a training mode, but you're only allowed to hit certain buttons in that mode. And unfortunately, the laptop or computer they were using at the time did not switch over to training mode. So when they were actually practicing on how to do and send tech alerts, she hit the button and it sent out.
It would be very rare. I mean, I can think of very few instances where we would evacuate the whole campus. If there was, think about the situation and use your common sense, because it's going to be quick and short, whatever we put out. What would be the reason for a full evacuation of campus? And you would have heard or seen some signs. If you come out, you don't see fire trucks or cops, then the assumption would be, hey, this isn't. Again, I don't want to say you can't downplay it. We put it out, you got to pay attention to what it is. But again, just use some, we're all in college, we're all faculty, staff, and you just kind of put together the pieces and say something doesn't fit. And then if you see an officer or a emergency personnel, ask. We learned a lot of things from it because students went out and tried to get on a bus. Well, whenever there's an actual, and at that point they thought it was, the buses stopped running. So we had students sitting there waiting for buses, and if a mass alert like that ever came off, you need to get off campus. You shouldn't be sitting there waiting for a bus.
So we were both in Going Band rehearsal, and I didn't even have my phone on me. I just knew that the whole band was getting this text at the same time, and we all were told to leave rehearsal and just don't even go inside. Just take your horns, take your cases, get off campus right now. I remember the shooting last year and the bomb threat last year, so I'm kind of used to it, which is kind of sad that we have that kind of reaction. But I was just okay, we'll evacuate, we'll do what they say and see what happens.
I was on the third floor of the sub. I was studying. There was a potential shooter or bomb threat because that's what everyone was saying, and we weren't told exactly what was going on because there was no further information. Just leave campus right now. I definitely would have appreciated more information about what the alert was exactly about, because it just literally just said leave.
So there was a mistake in the system, and I promise you we addressed it later the next morning in the meeting with the president. He called all the emergency team together to try to figure out how can we eliminate this in the future. Training goes on throughout the year, and it's been, like I said, it's been going on since I've been in this office for 8 years, and we've never had an incident, and that was the first one, but one is enough. And so it did open our eyes a little bit to how we could be better prepared. If you wanted to say what came out of it that might be good, is that you mentioned earlier the evacuation of campus. It did show that there were some deficiencies there, and there needs to be better protocol and procedures and how that functions.
I think if you look back at the shooting in October of 2017, that was really the first major incident we've had. It worked. The system worked, and people were very complimentary. It's not a pat on the back. That's not it at all. But the system's supposed to work. And it worked, and people were very thankful for being updated as they were.
Do you feel safe on Texas Tech?
I mean, I think so, because if they send us false alarm texts all the time, if there's ever something real, they're definitely going to send us one. So, I mean, I know we will get evacuated if there's ever a thing. It's just kind of annoying that sometimes we have these false alarms and we're missing class time, missing rehearsal time, just because something weird happened and somebody hit a button too soon.
I would say I do feel safe though, because all the security officers, and they're constantly patrolling. So I do. Overall.
Thank you. That's it.